Hello. This is just going to be for historical purposes, as always. Um, this is just going to be for the newcomers, Bulldog terminology. I think it's good when you own these dogs, even though, times have changed. And whether you guys are, when I say guys, I mean, I'm talking about men and women. Whether you guys are showing them in the confirmation ring, weight pool, just you got one that's a pet, you're breeding them, or all of the above, whichever. Um, I think it's important to know the history of these dogs. I think it's uh, including the dog fighting days. Even if you're against that, it's still how you got your dog, why it has the temperament it has, why it has the conformation it has. So these were just some for the newcomer. If you run into this terminology and you don't know what any of it is, it'll kind of fill you in. I'll just go ahead and start out with the thumbnail. There will be a breaking stick, and I just made a little sheath out of rabbit skin. Um, some people call it a parting stick. Obviously, that one's never been used. I made it myself. I always try to have 4 or 5 when I had the dogs. Always had one outside somewhere hid in case. And what I mean by hid, just from the weather, I didn't want it to get rained on and mess the wood up, rot the wood. But I would keep one out there for accidents. Always had one in the house. Always took one with me if I went to breed a dog to a friend's male or something. Um, and I personally, it really wouldn't hurt for you guys to have one, even though that's been bred out of your dog. You never know that that gene might jumble from 26 generations ago and excuse me, and hit your dog, and now you've got no way to part them. So I always liked this one was made out of cheap wood. I can't remember even what I made it out of. But I liked now everything's plastic, but in my day they had um, real nice wooden brooms, and I would just cut pieces off a broom. And at my work, we had I'm drawing a blank. I don't know if you would call it a grinder or whatever. And I would just grind it down. That's what I did with this one, and just grind it down to a stick, to breaking stick. There's no wrong or right, however you want it. Some people use tent sticks. Some people I've heard of goat horns and stuff. I don't know much about that, but I guess whatever works. But anyway, that's a breaking stick, a parting stick. Scratch was just a term used in the old days when you fought them for um, whatever dog don't scratch and takes the count of 10. Scratch just means running across the pit. Then the money's on the scratch. Then you lost. If here's somebody say part, hey, let's part them. Just break the dogs up. If you're in a roll and you go, I've seen enough, or let's see if they'll scratch. We would say let's part them. Now, a champion, you guys still in the show ring, you can have champions and grand champions with points. But in my day, a champion was 3 wins uh, with contract matches, recognized people, recognized referee. And a grand champion was 5 wins. Now, if you lost, you couldn't be a grand champion. Even if you could be a 7-time grand champion for a year, and then you go out the 8th and you lose, your dog's just a champion. So that's grand champion. ROM is Register of Merit. That's a producer. To be on the ROM list back in the day, and that was basically for contesting dogs, was if your sire or dam, one of your dogs, had a litter of pups, and one of those pups grew up and became a champion, that was 1 point toward the Register of Merit list. Now, if your dog was a grand champion, that's 2 points. So if your dog had 3 champions, it's stud dog life or brood bitch life, or or a grand champion and a champion. You got 3 points. You're in the ROM list. Obviously, if you had 4 champions, you got 4 points. If you had 5 champions, you got 5 points, so on and so forth. I didn't get into the PR, what was that called? POR or something, proof of registry. It was a newer term, or to me anyway. I didn't think it was needed, so I didn't fool with it or care about it. A turn, in the old days when somebody said it, that you called a turn when the dogs were fighting. If the dog let go of a hold and turned its head, it could have been a sign it didn't want to fight. So you could ask for a scratch, because the dog turned. An OTC is off the chain. Now, me and my buddy differed in opinion on this. He thought they was bullshit. I didn't. It stands for off the chain. And the reason why he didn't like it is he knew some people that would just take their dog off the chain and, to him, roll it, and then it win. The other dog couldn't scratch, and he called his dog a one-time winner OTC. I actually knew people that would condition the dog, had a contract and a referee. It's just they didn't have a lot of dogs or a lot of money. Well, one guy did, but they didn't have a lot of money and they didn't have a lot of dogs. So they would go into somebody for like $100, but have a contract and a referee and go by the rules and everything. And they'd do the right thing. If they won, they'd say, hey, he's a one-time winner, but OTC. So I kind of disagreed with that on my buddy with it. I believe in OTC wins. Not everybody had thousands of dollars back then to put on a dog, and I never matched a dog. It wasn't my thing, and it also I'm not a gambler, and it's got nothing to do with religion. I have no religious beliefs in my bones. I'm just a cheapskate. I wasn't cheap with the dogs. I fed them good. I took great care of them. I didn't, I didn't spare no expense. But I'm just not a gambler, so I didn't match dogs because I wasn't into betting. Hanging papers. I don't know how they got that name, but that just means lying. Say a bad guy's got a dog that just, again, back in the day of fighting dogs, say the guy's got a good dog, man. And, well, you could do it today, too, with people just confirmation dogs. You got a dog that people want pups from, and you don't have enough bitches bred to them, you can't meet the demand, then they would just lie and have pups off other dogs, or go buy pups unregistered from some guy in town that's got a male and a bitch and just bred them together, and then sell them and paper them under that dog that people wants it from. So that's what hanging papers is. Farm out. That's I was a farm out to Mike Norrod. I would get free dogs from him, didn't pay a penny. But he co-owned them. He could breed to them anytime he wanted. You couldn't get a stud fee. You didn't get pick of the litter. You had nothing to do with it. He just, anytime he wanted to breed to that dog, he could breed to it. But you owned it. It was your dog. You bred it how you want. Raised it how you want. But that was a farm out in the old days. Untouched. That was just, and all these terms, most of them are going to be for the old days. Some of them apply today. But an untouched dog obviously was a dog that hadn't seen combat yet. Cold dog. That was a dog that you put them in combat, they wouldn't do shit. I seen some of them just wag their tails. Would not fight back. Didn't matter how many times you tried, how long you did it. They will not fight back. That was called a cold dog. Kicked off. That's just a term. It's like a humane society have put so much shit out there through the years. I don't know what they say now. Probably not much because, I mean, to my knowledge, dog fighting's been eradicated. I mean, I'm sure there's, obviously, you're always going to have people out there still doing it. I don't know anybody who still does it. But it's, they say, prod your dog with a cattle prod, and that's how you get them to fight and feed them gun. But that's all horse shit. It's been bred into them. A pit bull is no different in back in my day than a beagle or a coon dog, you name it, a bird dog. Somewhere, I don't know, 400 years ago, whenever, no difference. You took two dogs. This dog had an urge to fight or hunt. This dog, or go after a bird or go after a rabbit. This dog had an urge to fight. You found another dog the same and you bred them. You got a litter of pups. Maybe you got two pups that had the urge to fight. The other pups didn't, so you called them. Call means put them down. Or, sell them or give them away or whatever. In my day, you'd put them down. And so forth and so on. Breed the male pup that grows up that wants to fight or wants to hunt rabbits or wants to hunt a bird. Breed the son to the mother, breed the daughter to the dad. And that's how these dogs, these sporting dogs come about. So there's no making a pit bull fight. In my day, they either fought or they didn't. Kicked off just means they had an urge. You seen them start on their chain, start wanting to go after a dog. And more time than not, when you see that and you roll, they're ready to go, and they did. You roll them and they knew what to do. So that was called kicked off. Catch weight was just when they matched a dog years ago and they were big dogs, rather than saying, hey, let's contract at 42 pounds or 32 pounds. My dog's 58 to 60 pounds. Your dog's 58 to 62 pounds. Let's just go on catch weight. Pick up your dog. That was a term I couldn't remember in the last video. I was talking about Gaines Fargo. And Kenny picked him up on, I don't know if he handled him for that match, but whoever picked him up and just wanted to scratch him to see if he's see if he was game, with Champion Mo. And I couldn't think of the word, but it's just you're giving up. Hey, I'm done. You won. Just let me see if my dog will scratch and be game. And that's what picking your dog up means. I put buckskin in here. I don't know why. My first Bulldog I owned, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old, something. They have always called yellow buckskin. Don't know why. Don't really care. I've called it that so long. But, and it might still be like that today with you guys. But in my day, you called a yellow dog a buckskin dog. Nobody said yellow. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from, that people didn't want to use the term yellow. But that's what buckskin means. Cur. That's just a dog that quits. He's a cur dog. You don't want him. He took the count. Whelp. Yeah, you guys still know what that means. Just a dog having a bitch having a litter. She's in whelp. Pups on the ground. Same thing. You just, if you say, hey, I got some on the ground. We need, and you guys might still use that today. It's just, oh, he's got a litter on the ground. They're probably 2, 3, 4 weeks old. Ace. That's like a really, really talented dog that was never in trouble. He was just so above everybody he fought. There was no, he was never in any trouble. Won every match easy. He was an ace. Looked at, if you say, I'd be on somebody's yard years ago and they say, yeah, this one, he's been looked at. This one hasn't been looked at. Looked at just means you rolled it and or game tested it. Some people wouldn't game test a dog the first time. They'd just let it go like 5 minutes. I knew a guy up in Michigan just passed away. He would do that. He would, and there's no wrong or right. He would roll his dogs first time just like 5 minutes. I just said piss on. I put them in there and I let them go unconditioned 20, 25 minutes. I wanted to see what they had. But there was no wrong or right. A breeding stand. I don't know if they have them today. I never used them. But like everybody will tell you, especially in Crenshaw's book, it's just a waste of money. You can just nail a collar into a tree and take your bitch and put that collar around her neck, and then, you know, she's not going to be, you know, trying to fight and everything with them. Well, in my day, they probably won't do that. Now you probably won't need a breeding stand. Double bred was just, you know, like most of my dogs were double bred champion gambler when I was in the Red Devil dogs. That just meant they had gambler on the top of their pedigree through their sire, and they had gambler on the bottom of their pedigree through their dam. Now, I'd also say stuff like I had a bitch named Heidi. I'd say she was triple bred champion gambler, which just meant he was 3 times in there. And then if it's any more, I haven't looked at the pedigree in a long time, but the best brood bitch I ever had was B-Red. She was a tramp turtle buster, and you know, she like 17 times Jeep or something. So rather than, after double bred and triple bred, I'd just say, well, she's 17 times Jeep or something like that. Scatterbred is just not family bred. You got quite a good mix of lines in there. You know, 3, 4, 5 different lines in one dog's pedigree. Screwball. People's got different opinions on this, but back then, to me, a screwball just crazy dog. And I'm not talking crazy like fight crazy. I'm talking they're just dumber than hell, and at times could be people mean, which I never tolerated. I did breed a brother and sister one time because I was low. I only had 4 dogs, and one of the bitches had demodectic mange. And Mike told me to still breed her, and I did breed her once, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste my time with, I want to do everything right. So I did breed a brother and sister at one time, and I got 3 males, and one was great, and the other 2 was meaner than hell, and I had to put them down. So I would call them screwballs. Now, that's not the same as people mean, but I have seen some pit bulls that were not intelligent and dumb and stupid and did stupid stuff, and that's not a very good explanation, but I'm sorry, but it's like I said, everybody's got their own opinion on what screwball meant back then. The rub, another one of many reasons I didn't match dogs back then, is anything that's got to do with money, you get dirty people, you get dishonest people, and people would find solutions to put on their dog. They called it the rub, and then when your dogs would start fighting, your dog's biting on that dog, it's got that solution on there, it gets ingested, then the dog gets sick. I remember a famous one I read about in the Sporting Dog Journal, and the dog's eyes got glazed, and it just kind of stood there, and they was pissed off, that camp, because they knew what they had. This was a ass-kicking dog, and I can't remember if he was a champion or not. And one thing about the Bulldogs back then, you didn't have one that would fight some days and not others. If they was going to fight, they was going to fight all the time. So now there was ones that people couldn't travel with because they might not fight, you know, say they're used to being on your yard, they'll fight on your yard, and you'll take us where else they won't fight. But this is somebody that had traveled, and that's just not going to happen. So that's called the rub. Another one, and man, like I said, I forgot some of the terminology, especially with the chains and stuff. So I'm probably going to get this wrong. But there was some, I think they called it the Fairman's rub. And these people, again, dishonest people, would have a bitch in heat, and they would stick that bitch in a crate for a couple hours. She'd get that smell in there. Then the dog they was taking to match, they'd put that male in there. Well, now he smelled like he was in heat. You release the dogs, the other dog's trying to romance your dog because he smells that heat cycle from the bitch that's on this male now. So there's another term. I can't remember if that was a correct name or not. It's been so long since I heard that. Strain, that's probably one everybody knows, even if you're a newcomer. You say, I got the Red Devil strain. I got Red Devil blood. I got the Red Devil bloodline. It's all the same. Barnstormer. This one to me is a little different from the Ace. It's not necessarily a dog that'll always just never be in trouble. Man, it's just straight ahead. I had seen a dog do that I actually had a chance to own later on. Never got any pups off of her. Didn't like she was scatterbred, but she was off of Wild Sides Willie and a granddaughter to Long's, one of them Long's dogs, Long's Abe or one of them, I can't remember which. And I seen her go into a Turtle Buster Mayfield dog, and she lost, but she was so physical. She was a barnstormer. I mean, straight ahead. Mike Norrod used to tell me a dog don't have to bite hard to be physical. He said his champion Bobcat dog didn't have a mouth, couldn't bite. He said he was snapped too before he was snapped boards in the pit. He was so physical. And this is the way this dog was. I never seen a dog shake like that. You'd think it was a shark or alligator. That bitch was bad. The bitch she went into was badder, but she was a barnstormer, man. I think most people though consider a barnstormer though, you know, dog like that, but with mouth and usually wins. But to me, she was a barnstormer. Brood bitch, you guys, even newcomers know what that is. I'm sure. Stud dog. Prospect, just in my day, was a dog that you thought was really going to be something in the pit. Keep, that's just it's like a boxer training. Just a dog's keep. You know, in my day, a boxer would train for 6 weeks. I don't know what to train for now, to cut down the weight and get ready for the fight and have different sparring partners that emulated who they're going to fight. Pardon me, it's the same thing as a keep. You're just getting the dog in shape. Cat mill or Jenny mill, you have to look that up. That's hard for me to explain. I can't remember. It's like it was in old movies, or I don't know if they still do it. When I was a kid, you'd go to a fair and they'd have little ponies that would go in a circle, and they was on like a cat mill, and you ride them. They let you ride them for a couple of minutes. I can't remember if it's like four posts or whatever you'd call it, spokes or whatever, or 3, but there would be a cage. You'd tie your dog to one. Some people, they say put a cat in there. I've known people put like a coon skin in there, and the dog smells that coon skin, and they'll chase it and run around that thing. And I've known people didn't put nothing in there. They'll just run in a circle around that. But that's it's people use them for horses too, or they did in my day. It was called like a horse walker, but you probably need to look that up, because I don't know how to explain that very well without just seeing a picture of it. Everybody knows what a treadmill is. A slap mill. There used to be a guy called what they call him, the mill maker or something. I don't know. He's probably not alive. If he is, he's old. But he made real nice slap mills, man. And it's just, the dog runs at its own speed. There's no plugging it in, no electricity. It just, you know, a big strap. I don't know what the material is made out of. I can't remember. That goes along these big wheels, you know, and the dog just runs at its own speed. But that's just some terms that we used back in the old days. And hope everybody has a good day.